Hey guys, this is David at the worst YouTube channel ever, and today I went to the Barber Vintage Motorsports Museum. Now they claim to be home to the world's largest collection of motorcycles. So, being that I live in Birmingham, and this museum is in Birmingham, Alabama in the United States, I thought I might fact check that little claim. So, as you can see, as soon as you get on Google and type in world's largest motorcycle collection, sure enough, Birmingham, Alabama is home of the world's largest motorcycle collection. It is 1,400 motorcycles, 5 floors. I was totally blown away by this museum. I thought I would share it with you guys. A lot of us are diecast fans, but more importantly, or more I guess first and foremost, we're car and auto and race and motorcycle fans. So this was a must see on my list as I live in this city, and it was long overdue. I can't believe it took me this long, but I'm kind of glad that I did find it when I did, because now I have made a video for you guys. And if you're here checking out this museum video and you are not a diecast fan, the more the merrier. Check it out. If you found it by searching for the Barber Vintage Motorcycle or Motorsports Museum rather, just enjoy the next 15-20 minutes. We're not going to look at every motorcycle. There's 1,400 of them here. No way I could get it all. This video would be 10-12 hours, who knows. And I'll admit to you guys, I'm not a huge motorcycle fan. This place was so cool though. It has something for everybody. If you ever get a chance to visit this place, I would highly encourage you to visit. If you are a race fan of any type of race, you'll enjoy it. There's something here for everybody. Even me, not even knowing the first thing about motorcycle racing, I was able to spend a couple hours here. There's so much interesting stuff. Everything is so well maintained and preserved. One thing I noticed, everything in here is absolutely spotless. There's no dust. Obviously these things have been here a little while. Everything is completely clean and wiped off. It's just a really impressive facility. I kind of gravitated toward brands that I know, brands that I had seen, brands that I know have a little historical significance. You're probably seeing things in the background that you're like, that thing is a lot more interesting than the one you're showing, David, and that's probably the case. I'm going to show what I got today, and if you are in the area anywhere near Birmingham, Alabama, you got to check it out. It's just an absolute hidden gem in our state. And as somebody from Birmingham, I'll tell you, this is not a place that we locally talk about a whole lot. It just needs to be talked about a lot more. This place hosts a actual open wheel race, a Grand Prix of Alabama. You can see the track in the background, the pedestrian bridge will be seen in some of the pictures as we yeah, here we go, right here. That's the actual track where we have F1 open wheel races. There is also a Porsche track experience here. There is a track day where you can bring your own vehicles, I believe, and race it on the track. But let's get back to the museum. After a while here, I'll shut up and we'll just put on some music and just look at some really cool bikes. Check out this snow machine right here. But I'll talk as long as I have an idea what's coming up next, and I'll interject here and there. But for the most part, we'll just take a look at just tons of cool motorcycles. There's even vintage cars here. We'll get to that shortly. Here's a Ducati. I know the brand, never ridden one. I know that they are some of the cream of the crop in terms of the motorcycle world. So like I said, if you found this video and don't know anything about my channel, this is typically a diecast automobile channel where I review diecast in 1/64 scale, which is, you know, your basic Hot Wheels or Matchbox. But I'm a car fan, so anything that I can get, you know, within a good driving distance, I want to document for, well, my subscribers to the channel, and also locals who have who just don't know about these places. So we'll take a look. This is an absolute hog of a Harley right here, 1977. Beautiful bike. I want you guys to look at just the cleanliness and condition of all the tires on the vehicles. There's no worn down tires. Obviously there's no rust, there's no dirt. It's just an amazing facility. All right, so I'll shut up now and we'll just look at some really cool bikes. And as we make our way toward the cars, I will come back and join you. Enjoy them. As we look at these police vehicles, in the background, you'll see some scooters, and I want to draw attention to a little yellow foldable scooter. If any of you Hot Wheels fans have the Honda City Turbo 2 vehicle, it's a super small little car. In the back of it, you will see a motorcycle folded up. And here is one in real life. This is the vehicle that was in it. So take out your Honda City Turbo 2 and look at it. You know, it's not just the quantity of the motorcycles. It is just the scope. Everything that could be classified as a motorcycle or is in any way, shape, or form related to one. There's an example of it here. I tried my best to get as wide a spectrum of vehicles. Look at what you see when you're walking through this place. 5 levels. Everywhere you can put a bike, there is one. I got really excited at the cars on the bottom here. So the tour suggests you start at the top and work your way down, and those cars for me were perfect motivation to end on a high note. I did recognize this American Graffiti bike here. This is a replica, but it is a gorgeous Harley Davidson. Gonna move into some really old bikes here, and I mean 150, 160 years old. I think there's one coming up that was 1857, maybe. So admission to this museum was $16.50 for me by myself. I don't know if there are different rates for kids, and it's pretty typical. There's your 1867, pretty typical hours available. As we make our way around this corner, just look at these Indian bikes. Now I know Indian, I know it's an American company that's been around forever and has an incredible name. Some of these are over 100 years old. So the address is Birmingham, Alabama. This is actually in a city right outside of Birmingham called Leeds, Leeds, if you want to Google that. So I really got my interest piqued when I realized there is a large collection of Lotus vehicles. I don't know Mr. Barber's affinity to Lotus, but I really appreciate it. I love the vehicle as well. I'll show you an example of my my love for Lotus here shortly, but let's just look at these incredible Lotus race cars. Here's a beautiful street car, Type 14. I'm assuming the plural for Lotus is Lodi, so there's just Lodi out the wazoo here. Going all the way back to the original, there are a couple replicas of the first few marks, but I believe this Mark III coming up is an authentic vehicle. And I believe that's one of the founders in the background, or founders family rather. As a diecast fan, I got super pumped when I saw this case right here, and then I realized these are all Lotus diecast vehicles. Look how many there are, guys. There must be 500, maybe 1,000 different Lotus cars in here. All scales, sizes, makes, models. And so at this point, I was thinking surely there's going to be an incredible diecast selection at the end of the tour in the gift shop. So I was pumped up. All right, so back to the cars. We'll look at like some prototype. These look like Le Mans racers, maybe. Pardon my ignorance. I'm learning, guys, but I got a long way to go on any racing at all. I'm not a NASCAR fan, even though I live in Alabama. Just never have been a big race fan. Just love cars. Love this gull wing for sure. So check out all these Formula Ones. If you can see in the background, I'll have a picture of them shortly. Some of the most famous liveries in the world stuff, even I know. This John Player, I love that livery. Camel right beside it. Like I said, he's got some special affinity with Lotus. Here's a group shot of the F1 racers, and then my personal picture. These are the Lotus diecasts I have on top of my desk in my home office. the Esprit and all the colors that Hot Wheels makes. So I share the Lotus love, and we'll get back to the tour. It wasn't all about Lotus. That prancing horse can only mean one thing, and this Ferrari was absolutely gorgeous. F1. Was hoping there were going to be rows and rows of Ferrari behind this one. That wasn't the case. Doesn't matter, nothing was going to dampen my enthusiasm. This is a monster engine right here. Here's an actual IndyCar engine. The keen observer will note some of the cars that were downstairs. We're going to make our way there shortly. This is the kind of place you have to just go around every corner. There's just something special. There's no space filler exhibits. Everything here is top shelf, including this classic Chevy right here. Pristine condition. You can see at least 3 dedicated floors for motorcycles. It's just unreal. Speaking of unreal, this Bentley may not see another Bentley with that wild a paint scheme. Some of you folks across the pond can tell me if this was an actual paint job or if this is the actual car. I have no idea. Something to do with the Beatles. I don't know if you guys can hear the engines in the background. They were running some sort of motorcycle race practice. Some incredible cars here. We've got some Model A's and Model T's back there, but as we make our way past the Ford GT, it's only a Ferrari for us to take a look at, this Dino. And then this AC. So my curiosity is getting the best of me. Is AC the group that collaborated with Shelby to do the Cobra? Because that front end looks like a AC Cobra. Someone will know, can help me out. Love that MG right there. This MG as well. Then I started hearing the bikes. I don't know if a race is this weekend or coming up, but I had to check it out. So we'll go out on the pedestrian bridge, and I'll shut up. So that was cool to see those. Here are the cars. Unfortunately, the cars that I thought I was going to get to look at, I had to take a picture from another level. That section is closed right now for some sort of renovations. You can see a 356, a 914, of course 917 in the Gulf livery, a 928 back there. Some really beautiful cars I had hoped to get up close and personal with. There's a Corvette as well as a stock car. I don't know what this is. Anybody can identify that? I'd appreciate that in the comments. And then here's what we got for the diecast. For you diecast fans, it's a little bit of a letdown, I'll admit. There were some 143 scale stuff in the gift shop. Nothing that you couldn't live without. Pretty generic stuff. and absolutely no 1/64 scale stuff. There's some Paganis in there, a few Lambos, a couple of these almost educational toys where you build your own racer. Kind of pricey. Here's another type of build your own racer. You get to pick the chassis, the fender flares, and the wheels. Just not my thing. Interesting. If you want to help a child build a car. A little bit more diecast here. A lot of motorcycles, obviously. But I don't think any brands that were anything special. Motormax, Maisto, stuff you can probably find at most shops that you collect your pieces at already. So just in the interest of completeness, I did look at everything here. This kind of a Coke can looking packaging is interesting. It's an RC car for 12 bucks. So I thought I'd show you everything. Now I have heard of Schilling before. I think they do older style stuff. I think we're getting pretty close to the end. There's a Motormax 1/24 scale Corvette here. It's a model, more or less. And then I think there might be a couple other things, and that'll do it for the gift shop. So this was the Barber Vintage Motorsports Museum in Leeds, Alabama, basically Birmingham. There's the next picture. There's a tower for the race that they run. Hope you enjoyed the video and the tour. I had a blast. This is a bucket list for any race fan or any car fan or motorcycle fan for that matter. So glad I went and glad you guys hung around and watched it. Take care. I'll catch you on the next video.